Hey everyone, my name is Mindy Banks. I'm the Flip Flop Chef. Welcome back to my kitchen. Today I want to show you how to make my mom's Pina Colada cake recipe. You're going to love it. It's delicious and it's going to make you want to take a trip to the islands. So let's go ahead and get started. In my plastic mixing bowl here, I have one box of store-bought cake mix. You can make your own cake from scratch if you like, but we're going to use a box mix today. So this is a yellow cake. We're going to add the ingredients that we need: 1 cup of water, a 1/3 cup of oil, and 3 eggs. We're going to mix this with Pampered Chef's Flex Plus. If you're not familiar with the Flex Plus, it's one of 3 cordless appliances that come together as a set. You get a hand mixer, an immersion blender, and a food processor. They're all cordless, and you get 2 batteries. So amazing. You guys are going to love this. So let me zoom in, give you guys a closer look here. I'm going to put the Flex Plus together. I'm going to just use the whisk attachments. We do have beater attachments, but for this, I'm just going to attach my whisk attachments there, and make sure you do that before you add the power stick or the battery pack. So we're going to put this inside the bowl and get this going. We're going to mix this on low to start, and then I'll speed it up a little bit. Make sure this gets nice and incorporated. And I'm just going to scrape down the sides. Make sure we get all of that dry mix. I'm going to get this nice and smooth. And we're going to bake this in our 9x13 pan. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the power stick and the battery, and then I'm going to press this release button right here, and it'll release the whisk attachments for me. Those are dishwasher safe, so I'll just put those in there to wash. Now this is our 9x13 cake pan. So you can see it's this beautiful blue color here. We're going to spray this with a little bit of oil. I'm going to use my kitchen spritzer for this. If you're not familiar with the kitchen spritzer, you fill it up to as far as this line here with the oil that you would like. This is just vegetable oil. You're going to pump the pressure into the bottle until it's nice and tight. When it's nice and tight, take off the pump lid and spray your pan. And we're going to bake this according to the package directions. So on this particular cake mix, it says to preheat the oven to 350 degrees. I'm going to do a little bit more oil because I don't want this to stick to the pan. And we're going to bake this, let's see, this particular recipe, 23 to 28 minutes. So I'll pop this in the oven here in a second, and then I'm going to show you how to make the other parts for this recipe. We're going to make a pina colada topping to go on top of the warm cake, and then we're going to make some homemade whipped cream. Now I like to burp the bottle when I'm done, let all the air out, and that way the air pressure doesn't build up and force the oil out, and then you'd have a sticky mess if you did that. So we've got our pan nice and greased. I'm going to pour in our cake mix. So again, this is just a yellow cake. Now, if you're new to my channel, I hope you'll click the subscribe button while you're here. And also go to theflipflopchef.com, click the button at the top. You'll find thousands of recipes as well as a weekly giveaway. So every Friday, just look for the Flip Flop Friday post in my recipe community. Leave your comment, and that's all you have to do to enter to win. On Monday, I pick a winner. So this will go in the oven, so hang tight, put this in the oven, and then I'll grab my timer, and we're going to bake this for 23 to 28 minutes. Hang tight. Okay, I'm going to use Pampered Chef's timer. I love this because there's 4 timers in one. So I'm going to press timer 1. I'm going to clear this out from the last time. And then what I'll do is, I'm doing this upside down. I'll just press this button to get to 23 minutes. I always like to start with the minimum time and then press go, and it starts counting down. You have 4 timers. It's very cool. It has a magnet, a little stand, and it also has a clip if you wanted to clip this onto your belt or your apron pocket. So let's go ahead and get the pina colada topping ready for this while this is baking in the oven. So this is a recipe that is kind of like a poke cake recipe if you've ever made those. When it comes out of the oven, when it's still warm, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to check to make sure that the cake is done. So I'm going to take our cake tester. So one side is a little cake tester. It's like a metal toothpick. And the other side is a releasing tool. So you use the toothpick side to check to make sure that your cake is done. You pull this out and there's nothing wet stuck to this. You might have a little bit of cake on it, and that's totally fine. Then you know that your cake or whatever you're making is done. The releasing tool is great if you're using this using muffin pans without muffin liners, and you can go around each one. It's also great for the brownie pan. It's perfect for the brownie bite pan because it gets in those little tiny wells and helps you pop those out easily. So we'll check the doneness of the cake, and then we're going to take this bamboo or teak spoon here, and I like to use the handle on this. I'm just going to poke big holes all on the top of the cake while it's warm, and then we're going to pour our pina colada mixture over the top. So let's get our pina colada mixture ready to go. You're going to love the ingredients to this. My mom always says if the recipe calls for sweetened condensed milk, the recipe is going to be amazing, and she is always right. So for this recipe, we're going to use a can of sweetened condensed milk and a can of Coco Lopez. This is cream of coconut. So what we're going to do is take our smooth edge can opener. If you're not familiar with this, I will give you a closer look so that you can see how it works. I like to start at the front of the can so that I know when I've gone all the way around. You're going to attach the can on the front, on the top like this, not on the side, and you're going to twist all the way around until you bypass your starting point. Once you pass the front of the can again, the tension will release, so you're going to kind of get used to the feel of this. Then you're going to turn counterclockwise and take the little button on the side. Oops, this can must have extra grease or extra glue, excuse me. Every once in a while you'll find a can that you have to go around 2 times, but not usually very many of them. Believe it or not, it's usually the name brand cans. There we go. And this leaves a smooth edge and on the can and on the lid. I'm going to take my scoop and spread. So one side is a scoop and one side is a spreader. The scoop side is silicone. The spreader side is nylon. I'm going to scrape all the sweetened condensed milk out. This is not evaporated milk. This is sweetened condensed milk. I had some stuck to the bottom. And then we're going to take our Coco Lopez can. Now, this does have a pull tab, but I still use the can opener because I don't want to damage my scrapers. So if you use a regular can opener, you're going to damage your silicone scrapers when you scrape out those cans. You'll cut the edges, and it's just not going to, see how easy that one was? Okay, so now we'll add in the coconut cream. And you can buy this coconut cream. Most grocery stores, unfortunately Aldi doesn't carry this, but you can get it at most grocery stores on the beer and wine aisle. It's something that's used in a lot of mixed drinks like pina coladas. You can also buy this at a liquor store. So if you're wondering where to find that in your grocery store, that's where you find it. So I'm going to whisk this together. So we're going to get the coconut cream and the sweetened condensed milk completely mixed together. Oh, this is going to be so good. And this is going to be poured right on top of that warm cake. So we'll set this aside. And then next we need to make our whipped cream mixture. Now my mom uses store-bought Cool Whip for her recipe, and you can do that, or you can make your own heavy whipping cream. And so that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to use our immersion blender, which is another part of the Flex Plus, and I'm going to measure 2 cups of heavy cream. I'm going to need to open another carton. I didn't think I had enough in here, but I wanted to try. So I have backup ready to go. So 2 cups, if I can get this open, that is. 2 cups of heavy cream, or you can buy the store-bought. All right, I had to pick that up so I could see where I was pouring. Okay. For this, we're going to add, so for every cup of homemade whipped cream, we need 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar and a teaspoon of vanilla. So that, since we're doing 2 cups, we're going to need 4 tablespoons. I hope I have enough in here. I didn't realize how low I was on this. I'm going to use my cake tester on the releasing side to scrape all this off. I don't want to make that noise. It sounds terrible with this plastic. Okay, so I think that was 3. We have just a little bit more in here. So this is one of those moments where I show you that you really don't have to measure every single ingredient. You can kind of eyeball things. So about 4 tablespoons of powdered sugar, since we're doing a double recipe here. And this is Pampered Chef's double strength vanilla extract. I could put just 1 teaspoon in here, but I always use the full amount, even though it's double strength. So we're gonna do 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and we only sell the vanilla extract during the holidays. So if you don't have that, then make sure you watch for that in usually October through December. All right, we're gonna take our immersion blender and I'm gonna add the battery pack that I used on the hand mixer a few minutes ago. And then I'm gonna press the little safety switch on the back. I'm gonna turn the power up all the way, flip this around here. We're gonna make our whipped cream. Takes a couple of minutes. We just want to let it thicken up, and I'm going to add, when you hear me pull it up and it's kind of slurping a little bit, that's me adding air to it. You can hear it getting thicker. And it's going to double in size in this cup. So keep that in mind. I wouldn't recommend doing more than 2 cups at a time. Almost there. Almost there. Okay, check this out. See how nice and thick this is? I'm going to remove my battery and my power stick, and I'm going to scrape off any extra whipped cream off of the handle and the top of this immersion blender. And then outside around the blades, just be careful with your scrapers around that blade. You don't want to damage your scraper. And I love that this has a storage lid. So let me rinse my hands real quick. All right, so this container comes with a storage lid. So I'm going to put this in the refrigerator until I'm ready to use this on the cake. So let's go ahead and put this in the fridge, and it'll be ready for us when we need it. So for this recipe, we're going to wait for the cake to cook. Then we're going to poke holes in the cake. After that, we're going to pour on top our coconut cream, sweetened condensed milk mixture, and then I'm actually going to let the cake cool completely. And you can even let it cool on the counter first and then put it in the refrigerator if you're not ready to serve it right then. Then you're going to top it with the whipped cream, and then you top it with coconut flakes. So hang tight. I'll be back when the cake is done and we're ready to pour this on. So see you soon. Hey everyone, I'm back. I want to show you how to finish up this cake. So the cake is done. I just took it out of the oven, and I'm going to show you how to use the cake tester. So like I said, one side is a releasing tool. If we needed it, we could just run it around the cake here, but since I sprayed this really nicely with oil, nothing is really going to stick to that. The other side is like a metal toothpick, and you just stick it in your cake. And if you can pull it out and nothing sticks to it, then you know your cake is done. So while it's warm, you're going to take a something to poke holes. You can use a straw. You can use a handle to a wooden spoon, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to zoom in, and you kind of want to go a little bit quickly because you don't want the spoon to stick to the cake. So if you try to do this when the cake is cooled off, it's not going to work so well. You're going to pull up a lot of that cake. So I like using this teak tool handle, and I'm going to wipe off. You see how I started collecting some cake? Just wipe that off so that you can keep going and not damage the cake. But I like to use this wide one because the filling fills up those holes. So rather than just doing little holes, you're going to make sure that your coconut cream and sweetened condensed filling goes well into your cake. All right, So like I said, this is just one of our teak tools, and it kind of has like a shiny finish to it. All right, next what we're gonna do is we're gonna just pour on the coconut cream, sweetened condensed milk mixture. Try to fill all the holes. And then this needs to cool completely before we move on to the last finishing steps. I missed a spot, get that there. So what I'm gonna do is I'll set this aside for just a little while, let it cool off. And then we're going to add the homemade whipped cream that we made with our immersion blender. Then we're gonna sprinkle it with coconut flakes. Now I'm gonna do half with flakes and half without because not everybody in my family likes the coconut flakes, but the cake itself is so good. So if you don't like the coconut flakes, the texture, then you can just leave that off, put the whipped cream and be done. When this is cooled off, not right now, but when this is cooled and decorated, I can put this really cool lid right on the top to store this, and it'll go right in the refrigerator. So you do want to store this refrigerated so that it is a cake that you serve cold. So I'm gonna let this cool off, and I'll come back later on and show you guys how to finish it up. So I'll see you soon. Hey everyone, I'm back to show you how to finish up the pina colada cake. So I went ahead and let this cool completely, and just to recap what we've already done, I baked a yellow cake mix according to the package directions. When it was done, I took our teak tool, or you could use a wooden spoon or a straw, and I just poked holes all in the cake. Then I whisked together sweetened condensed milk and coconut cream, poured that over the holes, let it soak into the cake while it cooled. The cake is cool, and we're gonna add our whipped cream and our coconut to finish this up. So this recipe, you'll be able to find it at theflipflopchef.com, and click the button at the top. It'll redirect you where you need to go. We're gonna put our homemade whipped cream on here, and we're gonna put coconut flakes on one half, and then we're gonna leave the other half without it. So those that want it can have it, and those that don't have to. So spread this nice and even over the top of the cake. And if you are new to my channel, I hope you'll click the subscribe button while you're here, and that way you'll be notified anytime I post new videos. If you like what you're seeing and see some products you'd like to purchase, I would love the opportunity to be your consultant. Whoops, I went too far on that. And as a consultant with Pampered Chef, I do earn commission on the products that I sell, and I would love the opportunity to help you anytime you need something. All right, oops, I keep brushing it off. There we go. All right. And then we're gonna take our coconut flakes. I think this side is prettier. So since it's prettier, I'm gonna put the coconut flakes on the other half, since I'm not going to put this on all of them. I couldn't get that lid off. So I'm gonna just cover the top with coconut flakes. And then we'll put the lid on this. It's gonna go in the refrigerator. And you wanna let it get really nice and cold. So I would recommend like 4 hours or overnight is even better. All right, and when you're ready to serve this, make sure you're using one of our nylon mini serving spatulas and not a metal one, because if you use a metal one, you're gonna cut your pan or scratch your pan, and I don't want you to do that. Now remember, we have this really fun lid, so you're just gonna snap this right on to your cake pan, put this in the refrigerator until you're ready to serve it, get your nylon mini spatula, and make sure you're not scratching your pan. If you have any questions about this recipe or any of the products that I use, please feel free to reach out to me. You can contact me at mindy@theflipflopchef.com, or you can just click the contact buttons on any of the pages that you follow me on. So I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.